All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ferrari 94, aka BRL Williams, commentating Tier 3 of BRL. This week we are at the Circuit Paul Ricard in France. Sorry, I'm running a little bit behind. And now we are in. Looks like we got a pretty full lobby right now. So my normal co-commentator Toxin is unable to join us tonight. Looks like Wrathful is filling in, if I'm not mistaken. Where is he at? Get him in here. Uh-oh. Do I not have Matted on this account? I do not. No? Shows I do. Weird. Okay. Oh, never mind. I guess Toxin is in here, so get him into a party. Okay, so Wrathful apparently Toxin is in here, so that's news to me. Thank you for volunteering there. Apparently Toxin is in the lobby. There he is.
Hello, hello.
Alrighty. So we are all set to go here just at the last minute. Everybody kind of hanging on just a second for me to get my happy butt in here. Running late with a customer at work. I only live around the block from my work around the block from my apartment, so it's kind of a hop and a skip to get back here. But people, this is why I'm an introvert. People. Okay, so it looks like everybody's selecting their tire strategy for the race weekend. Going to start off with our usual run of 18 minutes of qualifying around this very fast flowing, effectively it's a test track. Gone are the days of the runoffs of gravel and grass here at this circuit. And now it's all painted concrete with differing levels of abrasiveness. The farther out you get, goes to the blue zone, which is more abrasive than the regular racing surface, but not as abrasive as the red zone. You'll see plenty of that as the drivers go around, which is quite abrasive. Looks like Mex Andrew going to be, again, the first man out of the garage here for Tier 3. Usually his go-to thing. He's kind of like me. He likes to get out, get that lap done. And that sometimes can pay dividends. Starting off dry here doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to get some rain. We got some rain here in Tier 1 qualifying, and I believe in the Tier 2 race. And it definitely shook things up a little bit, as a lot of guys in Tier 1 not able to set faster laps than their first laps, or their bankers, because the rain came a bit unexpectedly for us. And we are now getting our usual weather update from Heatwave 4. Thanks, bud. Looks like the race is going to be cloudy and overcast, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we aren't going to get some rain, so we'll see. Qualifying is going to be dry, it looks like. So we will see what happens. Toxin, what do you think is going to happen here at this race?
You know, the French Grand Prix being such a, random track for, strategies and just, overall, skill. I definitely think we're going to see a lot of people that we're not expecting to be in the top 5 running right there for that top 5 position. Maybe not so much in qualifying, but I definitely think alternate strategies and just how these races can go here at the French Grand Prix. Definitely going to give us a couple crazy top 5 people here tonight.
I think it definitely will. Tier 1, I was one of 2 people to qualify on the soft tire in the top 10. Put myself second on the grid, and Cody's kind of bent me over the table on the strategy after I changed it to what I wanted. Thanks, Cody's. Way to go. Having the game change my tires for me. But hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody, and we can see it play out correctly. And hopefully we can not have a safety car restart with 2 laps to go. Because as entertaining and fun as it was for me to charge up 7 places in 2 laps, or actually more like a lap and a half, it's not exactly the most or it's not the least stressful situation to be in at the end of the race. I'll say that much. But for the most part, you want to do a one-stop here, whether that's going from the soft tire, as we see Max Andrew out here on the lap. He is on the soft tire. Whether it's starting on the soft tire and going to the hard, or starting on the medium and going to the hard, that's pretty much the two strategies you're going to see around here, or the inverse of that, going from the hard to the medium at the end. If you're starting way back, that might be the go-to, because the hard tire really does last quite well around here, and it keeps good pace, whereas the medium tire, you get a few good laps, it kind of falls off a little bit towards the end, and the soft tire, it's really, really quick, but it does fall off after about 7 laps of running, which is not a whole lot around this track. It goes by pretty quick. 27-lap race, so you can do the math there. So, Toxin, do you think we'll see any overtake of the week candidates in this race?
You know, that long, fast, sweeping right-hander, you can definitely see some crazy inside and outside overtakes there. Along with actually the penultimate turn and the final turn, you can get some crazy switchbacks there. So I'm looking forward to seeing a few good overtakes in those 3 corners. And then obviously down the straight, you can get some nice overtakes into the small chicane there. So.
Indeed, into turn 1, into the chicane, and I believe that's turn 8 and 9, possibly. Yeah, I believe it's 8 and 9, if I'm not mistaken. And then, like you're mentioning, into the long, fast right-hander LeBose. I pulled off 3 such overtakes on people at various points throughout the race, including in the final 2 laps to get around number 1 Finn Fan 72, albeit for, at the time, like 11th place, but you can, if you just lay off a little bit, you can get a run at the inside of the eye, and there's really not a whole lot it can do, because if he's taking the racing line, he's going to just swing way wide to try and open up the exit of that corner, and if you can get the inside and interrupt that, you pretty much can take the spot, and just, you can't really do much about it. Max Andrew set the first time at a 130.2, Marlon Conga already up at a 129.3. The other thing to keep an eye out for is, yes, this place has a lot of runoffs, and they go all the way out to the wall, but you still got to stay within the track limits as Silkweaver jumps to P2 and DaCosta jumps to P4. Whiffy winner, and as well as Mex Face Ace jumping to P4 on the medium. And so Whiffy, DaCosta, and Mex Face Ace all on the mediums at this point. Q-Man behind them on the soft. And the top 3 guys all running on the soft. As we see Marlon Conga cutting the chicane on his in-lap. You're not really allowed to do that, bud. You're supposed to stay on the racing surface at all times. Even in qualifying, this is not really something to be commended. It's generally kind of frowned upon, actually. As Killer F1 1846, looks like that's is that a new face in here? It's Weiser with a different name, as he cuts across the first chicane, staying well off the track though, trying to just get out of the way of the McLaren behind. Still not exactly how that needs to be done, but up to P3 on the medium, so he is now the fastest medium runner, which that is the optimal strategy, is the medium to the hard, as it is pretty much every week. Although, if everybody's running that same strategy, it's kind of like that old saying, if everybody's thinking the same, nobody's thinking. And that definitely paid off for myself and BRL Perondi in the Tier 1 race at the start, because we rocketed away from everybody to the tune of about 2 seconds. Kind of held there for the opening few laps, and really didn't have to work too hard to stay clear of everybody in the early stage of the race, which was nice. Don't really think that we're going to see too much of that, because these guys are usually a little bit closer and a little bit more adventurous on the strategy. as we see Weiser Square and the Red Bull right there. I'm not sure if that's, I think that might be redeemed. No, that's DaCosta. Looks like he's coming up to finish a lap, kind of getting maybe a little bit balked there by the Williams, but not too badly through that penultimate corner. Jumps up 2 spots there to P7. And Exia, our head admin, warning all the drivers to not cut the track, as we have seen several drivers doing here at the Circuit Paul Ricard to shorten up their in and out laps. Not really allowed to do that, guys, and probably will be some penalties handed down because we do have that full map up, so we can see when you do it, and we can kind of figure out who's who. So you might see some penalties or some reprimands coming down after this race is through. All right, let's see who is on a lap right now. It looks like Max Andrews out there on another lap. He's about 4/10 up, and this time he's on another set of the softs, so he really does need to try and extract a lot more from this lap. He's almost a second off the top running pace.
Rawlings jumping to P1 on the mediums, actually 29.2. Great lap to see from him.
Indeed. Both he and Joe usually over 1 lap. 2 of the fastest guys out there in this tier. Pretty easily able to do that. Marlon Kangat switching to the medium tire, I think, in the pit lane possibly. We're going to look down at Joe here because Joe is on a quick lap. I believe he's on the medium as well. He is actually invalidated, so he's going to be gearing up for another go. That's kind of the thing around here is you want to really load up on that medium run for 2 laps because the tire really doesn't get enough heat in it on that first lap to be effective. So sometimes running that second lap, because then you get a feel for it on that first lap, can be very beneficial around this particular circuit. The counterpoint to that is obviously the extra tire, but in qualifying it's only half what it is in the race, so it's really not even that much. So unfortunately that ruined the tow he was going to get from Rawlings down the straightaway because the lap's invalidated. So very unfortunate for him. As we see, let's see, we're going to look back up here as Andrew goes to the top of the board actually on that set of soft tires with a 129.1. So not too much quicker than Rawlings is there. I will say this, the track is relatively low grip on the front straightaway from the standing start, so having that extra grip from the soft tires, if you get a good start, can really pay off. Let's see here, who else is out on a lap right now? Looks like we got Whiffy on a lap. He's coming through Sector 3 in the Alpha Tauri. On a set of the soft tires, getting a little bit of lap traffic, and his teammate's in the way. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay. Fluky just absolutely getting in the way of his teammate. Whiffy shaking his head there, like, come on, man, what are you doing? You're my teammate, and you just ruined my lap. So, not gonna be the kindest of words shared in that garage tonight. Everybody's pulling back into the pit lane here shortly, I think, because we're getting down to the last 6 minutes. As it looks like one of the Ferraris going back out. I think that is Max Facetace, possibly? Or is that Andrew? I think that's Facetace. Nope, that I believe is Andrew. Yep, it is Andrew. He's going back out. He's going to go early here. Very interesting. Not really enough time to do 2 runs. And looks like Rawlings now out there. He is on an out lap. He is on the soft tire, so maybe just wanting to secure that high starting position. But honestly, if I was him, I would just kind of be out there for security purposes. I would have waited a lot longer as well, just to make sure I wasn't starting to drop down the order and maybe be one of the last guys to start a lap. As his teammate's actually out on the lap on the medium tire right now. He's invalidated again. So Joe not having the best time of it right now on those mediums. Currently down in 18th and last. As looks like we see, I think that was... somebody jumped up quite a bit there. Who just finished a lap? I think that was Heatwave. It was. Jumped up to P6 on the soft tire. So good job from the Mercedes driver to get himself up there in that top 10. Albeit on the soft tire. Most of the... front runners are actually on that soft tire. Let me see what they've got for their best tire right now. So this is the current situation. Current best lap setting tire each driver. So Zampa and Rawlings currently the 2 guys on the medium in the top 5. And then 7th through 9th also on the medium. Everybody else on the soft tire.
Andrew actually invalidates his lap pretty early on, so he needs to get around the track and try and get back out and get another lap in. But he is going pretty slow. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it here.
Right along with whoever this is coming up to start finish line. I believe that is Weiser Square, and he has actually invalidated that lap already. So not sure what happened, if he went off the track in the early part or the latter part of the lap. As LDR Redeemer puts into the Tier 3 chat. Glad I cut before you started watching, talking about cutting the track at the chicanes to save time. As, again, we see Weiser Square now doing that after they have been warned not to do that in the chat on his out lap here. Or is this on his... did he invalidate? I think, yeah, he invalidated this lap, so... And we got people all over the place. So,
on board with Marlon here. He's actually purple on his lap. He's only 2/10 off the pull-up at the moment. So let's see if he can maybe clinch it here from Andrew.
And Weiser Square has retired from the session. Joe is back in the pits without a time set, so maybe going for that hard tire, but starting from dead last. That's going to be a tall ask, even for the Haas driver. Alrighty, so Marlon coming up towards the line here. He's going to be up on his time a little bit. He is going to go to P2, just a hair behind Andrew, and DaCosta goes to P1 in the Red Bull with a 129.0. Fluky retires from the session. I believe he actually retired on the back straightaway, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like that is the case. Looks like we got Dark Ice coming to start his lap in the last few seconds here. Just behind him, we have got Trace Me in the McLaren. He's out there on the soft tire. And then just behind them, one of the Ferraris, I believe that is Andrew. And he's invalidated, so he is out of the session. Promptly retires on track there.
Dark Ice already a half a second up. That brings him down to only about half a second behind DaCosta for pole. Definitely has a lot of time to gain as he isn't now on the softs. Now a second up, only a 10th down, looks like.
Who are you watching again?
Dark Ice. Coming through the last few turns.
All right,
here.
the Alpha Man. The Alpha Man here. A little bit of cloud cover. That's going to help keep those soft tires in the temperature range. Gets his teammate out of the way there. A little bit of a twitch into that final corner. That's going to slow him down just a little bit. Yellow flag's out. Coming down to the line. What can he do? Can he get himself any higher than ninth? It looks like he is going to, and he is going to go to pole by almost a second.
Wow, where did
Dark
that
Ice
come from?
being the dark horse.
What a lap.
Wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with that. So that is your qualifying session here at Paul Ricard. Dark Ice Racer with the steal on the pole right there by 8.5 tenths of a second. We're both a little speechless on that part, to be honest. Then DaCosta Brown's in the Red Bull in second, and Mex Andrew GP in the Ferrari, followed very closely by Marlon Kange in the Williams for third and fourth. And then the first man on the mediums is SR Rawlings. I mean, this guy in the Alpha just laid down the gauntlet. That's a tier 1 time right there. Quite seriously, that's a tier 1 time. That's 3/10 slower than what I did. He just absolutely laid it out for these guys.
Definitely a great lap there from Dark Ice. He literally had absolutely no mistakes as I started watching him through sector 2 and 3, except for that little twitch there in the last turn. Just a great driven lap there from him.
All right, folks. So there you have it. We're going to look down the order real quick. Dark Ice Racer, DaCosta Brown's, Mex Andrew GP, Marlon Kange, SSR Rawlings. Trace Me got up to P6 in the McLaren on the soft tire, just behind Rawlings in the Haas on the medium, and just in front of Zampa in the Mercedes on the medium. Then Silkweaver in 8th, Heatwave in the second Mercedes, also on the soft tire. Both McLarens opting for the soft. And you have Killer F1, also known as Wise or Square, in the Williams, and he's in P10. Third guy on the medium is going to bode well for him. Mex Face in the Ferrari just behind him, followed by ARS Boostler, Fluky Flower, Groggy Regano, Whiffy Winner, LDR Redeemer, and company behind. So who's your one to watch tonight, Toxin?
I believe it was Rawlings there, P5, the only top 10 on the mediums. There may have been one more, but he's definitely the highest of the medium runners, and he'll definitely be one to watch on taking those tires, obviously, farther than the softs, and seeing how he can do staying there with those guys.
Yeah, for me, my one to watch is going to be Joe, starting down there in P18. What's his strategy going to be? Is he going to run the conventional one-stop of medium to hard, or is he going to do the inverse and go for the hard to medium? Can really pay dividends toward the end. catch a guy through LeBose or some of the other fast corners around here on that hard tire, and then you cut back on them in the middle of the corner, they can't really do much if you're on a softer tire that late in the race. Who do you think is going to end up with the victory tonight, though?
You know, after seeing that lap from Dark Ice, I definitely think he's one of those top picks that you could choose. I mean, if he can keep that kind of pace throughout the race, he's going to be a very hard man to catch. As you said, Joe, definitely another guy to watch, and he's been very, very consistent this season. Definitely another name that you can even throw in there just because he's been so consistent. I know he's starting P18, but he's definitely another man that can do it. And then DaCosta also had a great qualifying. Definitely another name to watch here tonight.
Indeed, we're just waiting for everybody to get their strategy set. The clock's run out, so they're going to start that formation lap here momentarily. Or are we? No formation lap, apparently. And that caught DaCosta out. He's going right down the order to P9. We already got a crash. Both McLarens and one of the Mercedes. What has happened here? Oh, my goodness. That is going to be an immediate safety car. LDR Redeemer, severe collision penalty. Fluky Flower, severe collision penalty. Start line crash. I can't remember the last time we had one of those in BRL. Wow. Unbelievable. Didn't even make turn one.
Honestly, surprised to see nobody crashing out completely. There was a bunch of hard hits there from both McLarens. Tons of wing damage, maybe even a flat tire on Trace Me there. But just insane, man. I mean, definitely going to have at least 3-4 cars pitting, maybe 5. As you said, DaCosta gets caught out. I think there was the formation lap. He's already down to P14.
Yeah, I think he got caught up in that mess with the 3 cars behind him, or 3 of the 4 cars behind him there. Doesn't have any damage, but I think they were trying to fight for position. He was just right in front of all of them, and it just kind of bottlenecked, as it so often does on the start when somebody doesn't go. Safety car waiting outside of turn 2 to pick up the leader of the race. These guys with wing damage at the back, so Heatwave, Silkweaver, and Trace Me, they're all going to dive into the pits here. Does anybody else towards the front do it?
One thing I will say,
like it.
From all the carnage, Whiffy jumps up 7 spots off that before the yellow. I mean, what a great start. I mean, a lot of carnage to help with that, but still jumping up 7 spots, even with all that carnage, is definitely a great start there from Whiffy.
Indeed. So we're going to see what tires they go to. Heatwave goes to the hard. What are the 2 McLarens going to go to? They're going to have to double stack. Unfortunate for them, so that's their race put on the back foot already. Looks like Silkweaver's going for the medium. Trace Me is going to go for the... We're waiting. Did he go for another set of the softs? There's our AWS predicted strategy graphic. Not anymore, Amazon. Thank you very much. As Trace Me goes for the medium as well, getting that wing change on the number 19 McLaren. Looks like Q-Man, last man running there on the mediums in this pack. These other guys are about 30 seconds behind, having to make repairs, but they'll catch that back up this lap. Got to kind of be careful in that final corner under safety car, though, because it kind of bottlenecks a little bit. But yeah, Whiffy getting a great start in the number 66 Alpha Tauri to jump up to P8 from P15 on the grid. Great job for him. DaCosta and Trace Me both down 12 positions after lap 1. Unfortunate for them. That's kind of something unfortunate that we've seen happen a few times more often than we'd like, is the formation lap not being on at the start of the race, and it kind of catching some people out because the lights come on, they're not expecting it, they're expecting to have a nice gentle pull away this time and give themselves a couple of minutes to kind of relax and get themselves set, and they just didn't get that. Okay, so it looks like Max Andrew is actually going into the pits here. Did he pick up some damage, possibly? Or is he just opting to get off of those softs now? Looks like he did pick up some damage. He's going to go for a wing change, and maybe he ran in the back of Dark Ice Racer or something to that effect, or something happening there. But the Ferrari going to drop right to the back. Goes onto the medium tire. All is not lost, as only 4 cars have actually stopped at the moment. Although a lot of guys towards the front are on those medium tires. He's definitely going to have a little bit more pace, though, with basically 2 laps fresher tires. So what do you make of that, Toxin? Any word from the official review booth about that start?
You know, I really couldn't tell. I wasn't checking anything, but it definitely looked like, you know, like as you said, just DaCosta getting caught out. A lot of people just bunching up, and all I really saw was just both McLarens go straight off into the wall. So I'm not exactly sure at the moment.
Indeed, our one of our lovely owners, BRL Skeppy, making a quip. Ping pong, anyone? Somebody grab a clip of that, mute out our audio, and say, what are we doing, racing or playing ping pong? All right, so one other guy that made hay while the sun was shining there was Joe. He's all the way up to P11 from P18 now, so he's made some good inroads. Already almost into the points, just behind LDR Redeemer. He's the first guy aside from Face Taste. Face Taste actually started on the hards. Where did he start at? P11, so he was the first guy with free choice. He started on the hards, so both he and Joe on that hard tire, getting a nice clean getaway. Usually the hard tire loses you a few spots on the start, but they both pick up plenty of them. And with that, with that stop by Andrew, Whiffy's actually up 8 spots now, as we're going to go up to the lead here, as Dark Ice Racer coming down to the final corner. He's going to pretty much back them all up to this final corner. Get himself a nice, he's getting a pretty good gap right here. He is gone. He's already almost got a second before they even get to the line. Beautiful safety car restart from the Alfa Romeo driver, just handling this race perfectly right now. Does not even have to worry about the guy behind. Meanwhile, it looks like Marlon Conga's got Rawlings and Zampa all over him right now. The 2 SSR guys on the medium tires. They're going to start to come into their own here in just a few laps. And just behind them, Face Taste on that hard tire is going to be trying to hang with them for now.
Joe looking down the inside going in this chicane. Almost 3 wide. That could have been something crazy.
He's still looking down the inside of... As Killer gets a little bit sideways, almost takes Joe with him. That's going to cost Joe momentum down the next straightaway in a couple spots. It's Q-Man looking for a move. Joe trying to make a move of his own, and Q-Man's around.
Clearly loses the back end.
And retires from the session to boot. Knocked the front left corner off of it, so he is out of the race. We have a second safety car. And Dark Ice just missed the pit entrance. Marlon dives into the pit lane here. Oh no. Oh no, that was just perfectly bad timing for the Alfa Romeo, who has done so well these first opening few laps.
He was absolutely gone off of that restart. I mean, way outside of the DRS range by the time it came on, and as you said, just gets caught out by the extra safety car there, and it's going to be in.
He wasn't even that. He just a few seconds before, and he could have probably decided to dive into the pits as DaCosta retires in the pit lane, or he's left the session. Sorry.
Trying to get him back in here.
DaCosta with some perpetual internet issues. Usually they happen under safety car, thankfully, so we can get him back in without him losing too many positions. He was already in the pit lane when that happened.
Hopefully he wanted to go on to the mediums, as that's what the AI did for him. I gotta say, especially with this extra safety car, this is still anybody's race.
It really is. Strategically, this has blown it wide open. So, really anything could happen here. You know, under safety car, while we've been talking about, I literally could have just been eating my dinner that's sitting in front of me. Fat kid problems. I say fat kid, I'm almost 26 years old, and skinny as a rail, but, you know, still, fat kid problems. My food's there, and I want to eat it. Dark Ice Racer disqualified for ignoring yellow. What? What? Oh my. Well, that certainly mixes things up a little bit, because now we don't have anybody out there on the soft tire. I think he was the only guy on the soft tire. And Rawlings now assumes the lead of this race. Meanwhile, doing a Joe check here. He's up to P7. And Max Facetaste, also on the hard tire, is in P3. Gotta think we'll see that safety car in this lap. We can hopefully get back to racing and actually get more than a lap or two under green. So far, I think we spent 5 of the 6 laps under at least some sort of safety car condition. Not the start we were hoping for, but it'll certainly give us the finish I think we're looking for.
I'm receiving word that Dark Ice got DSQ'd because the game said he was overtaking the safety car while entering the pits.
Yeah,
Codemasters
that
people.
can happen. That can happen. So this is the thing about the pit lane under safety car is, I've noticed you can be pretty liberal with it going into the so hang on, did he just straight up pull out from behind the safety car and go flying by it into the pit lane?
I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I would assume so.
I would like to see a clip from his perspective just to kind of see what happened. We are back to green right here. Rawlings already with a 2/3 of a second advantage as they come to the line. Facetaste with a similar advantage, or example of a similar advantage over Facetaste. Behind, so everybody pretty evenly spread out as they come down the line. Trace me a little bit farther back from Andrew than I think he would want to be right now. And guy who's kind of just been Mr. Quiet right now. Look there in P4. ARS Boostler started down in P10, really hadn't done a whole lot. Or he might have actually been, as he gets very squirrely out of turns, whatever that is. I don't even know the corner numbers here, to be perfectly honest. I haven't actually ever looked at the track map of this place. But that's going to put him under fire from Whiffy for 4th place as they come down to the chicane. Whiffy taking a look, not going to do anything. Probably a smart move. Didn't really have the momentum to get alongside the Racing Point down the straightaway. Going to tuck in behind. He can slipstream up behind him through this very fast, flat-out right-hander. 180-mile-an-hour corner right there, and if he was a little bit closer, I would say he could maybe try for a switchback into Le Boze here. But not quite. But still, how about Boostler getting sideways like that, coming on to the Mistral straight and keeping the position? Well done to him. Lost a little bit of time to the cars in front, but I think he can make that up. He is on a softer tire than the car directly in front. Meanwhile, at the end of this first lap of racing, Rawlings already out to a 1.3 second advantage as they come onto the front straightaway and make that 1.1, as looks like Zampa on the button a little bit, and Rawlings sets fast lap at a 133.6. That's our first fast lap of the race. I think that's the first lap that's been completed completely under green here at Paul Ricard tonight.
I gotta say, your man on the move definitely still Joe. He is right here in the back of Redeemer, right there, also on the back of Boostler. Just as Whiffy does get by Boostler, just man on the move. He's putting a lot of pressure on them, and I definitely think he's going to be a name to watch here, the win tonight.
He is, especially if he can dispatch these guys and maybe get up there on the back of Whiffy, because Whiffy's got good pace right now. If he can just get behind Whiffy and let him drag him along, that's going to get him ever closer to his teammate leading the race, and Zampa and Facetace as well. As Facetace actually is looking to make a move, I think, here for P2. He is looking at the back of Zampa. Maybe those hards starting to come into their own a little bit. Into the fast right-hander and into the Le Boze. Is he going to go for that cutback? He's on the harder tire. I don't think he can make that work. He's going to try it. Not quite going to have anything happening there. Maybe get a little bit of a run into the left-hander. He's on the outside, so he's still hanging in there. We got a yellow flag in Sector 3. Looks like Garagi Regano has gone around at Le Boze. No harm, no foul. Looks like these two are still side by side in the penultimate corner. And finally, Facetace has to yield. That's going to bring Whiffy almost into, I think, the DRS range. And, ooh, Facetace gets a little bit of a choppy exit there from the final corner. DRS enabled this lap. And Facetace just hounding Zampa for P2 in that Ferrari. Meanwhile, just behind these guys, Redeemer right up the back of Boostler, Joe right up the back of Redeemer, and then Andrew getting around Heatwave for P8 right now. Andrew making a nice recovery drive after getting that early wing damage and having to pit onto the first safety car. He has made his way all the way back to P8, and he is on 2-lap fresher tires than anybody in front of him. That could pay very good dividends for him speed-wise as the run goes on. It looks like we had a move going here as Boostler gets DRS on, or Redeemer gets DRS on Boostler, steams past him into the chicane. Job done. Now he's got to pull away, so maybe Joe can do the same the next lap and get that racing point a little bit farther off of his back. Looks like he gets a better exit out of the chicane, but that racing point's going to slipstream him all the way up to Le Boze here. Maybe try to get a move back to him. I think we may have seen Redeemer just get fastest Sector 2 right there. I'm not sure. I wasn't watching the map. But now you see Boostler falling away a little bit, getting a little squirrely there out of Le Boze, as Joe is all over the back of that racing point for P6. And Joe doesn't want to hang around too long because Andrew's got a good bit more speed on those newer mediums than he does on the hard. Boostler's going to get out there a little bit wide, and that's going to allow Joe by. Andrew, crucially, though, does not get by the racing point, and that's going to hold him up for at least a couple of corners. Joe now into a little bit cleaner air. The Redeemer just in front of him should be able to dispatch Redeemer down the Mistral straight if he can just get a little bit closer. Down here looks like we got Marlon Kanga right on the back of Heatwave looking for a hole to go through. Unfortunately, this is kind of the jinx of Paul Ricard, is you got DRS trains all over the place, as looks like we're going to see Andrew go for a move here on Boostler. On Boostler down the Mistral straight in the Ferrari. And just up ahead, Joe looking at Redeemer. He's looking to the outside. He's going to send it in around the outside. Can he hold it? He does. That's job done from Joe there. Good job. Or is it? Yep, it is. But now Redeemer's going to be right on the back of that Haas up the next straightaway. Possibly going to slipstream Joe. Jerks over to the right, goes defensive. Maybe a little bit earlier on it next time than that, Joe. That was a little bit cheeky. Redeemer not going for the cutback through LeBose, maybe just going to let Joe drag him along a little bit. Now he's got to catch up Whiffy a little bit, who's about 2 seconds in front, and got about a 2-second gap up to Faceace, who still has not dispatched SSR Zampa in the Mercedes ahead. Rawlings holding about a 2-second lead out in the first of the two Haas's. So both Haas cars up in the top 5, doing very well once again for that team. The one-stop strategy is now open as Marlon Conga picks up a 3-second time penalty for running a little bit wide off the edge of the track. Redeemer does the same there at the exit of turn 1 and 2. Look back here, Marlon Conga still hounding the back of Heatwave, trying to find a way by. He's got Trace Me all over the back of him as well. Again, looks like Boostler just in front of Silkweaver, not getting a very good exit out of the decreasing radius right-hander. Silkweaver got the DRS on the McLaren, going to just steam past on the straightaway. Nothing that Boostler can do about that. He's just going to have to try and maybe get him back up to the next corner. DaCosta picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Just really not having the night he wanted to after that brilliant qualifying effort. Just things not really going his way there. You see him in the background. It looks like Mex Andrew fighting with Redeemer here for P6. Joe kind of streaking off in the distance. He's closed down the gap to 1.3 seconds on Whiffy, 1.2 seconds now. Now it's down to a second. He might be in DRS range if he can keep that up here very shortly. I'm not sure he's going to have it this lap, but next lap he probably will. As it looks like the pendulum is swinging more towards the hard tire. Faceace sets fast lap on the hard tires at 133.1. No response from Joe there on that.
Going on to the strict, Faceace has actually caught back up to Zampa, and Joe also closed the gap down to less than a second on Whiffy.
Indeed, looking at Faceace on Zampa here. Is he going to have the head of steam he needs to get him by the end of the straightaway? He's going to pull the inside, have the inside line into the chicane, going to outbrake the Mercedes, and nice, clean, textbook move right there. Just behind Joe, not quite close enough for a move, but he is closing down very quickly on the AlphaTauri ahead of him. So these two guys on the hard tire looking very strong right now, but Joe needs to start reeling in that red Ferrari that's up in the distance. Got a yellow flag in Sector 2. It looks like...
oh my goodness.
Oh, and Redeemer gets tagged. Holds on to it, though. Good save from LeBose. Very high-speed corner, very easy to lose the car when you get tagged like that and go all the way around. Good job to hold it after that little touch from Andrew.
Absolutely. Andrew going completely around the outside right there. Just a little hairy on the end there, but great move overall from him.
Indeed. Looking back down here, Zampa not letting Faceace get too far away from him. Still within DRS range here. Hounding the back of that Ferrari. Like, no, give me that spot back. That's my spot. No, you don't. Rawlings just sitting up there kind of laughing about 2 seconds ahead of these guys. Just, yeah, keep doing that. Keep on doing that. Behind these two, Joe has caught up to the back of Whiffy. I think he's going to have something to say to the AlphaTauri driver down the Mistral straight this time. Gets a good clean exit. Not too much runoff right there. Cuts back, nice clean apex. He's about 6/10 behind. I think that's a little bit too far. I think he lost a little bit too much coming onto the straightaway, but he's definitely got a head of steam coming up towards that chicane. Takes a quick look, thinks about a dive bomb. Not quite close enough, but he is all over the back of him as they go through the chicane. Looks like he got a better exit too, as he's now going to slipstream the AlphaTauri up towards turn number 10 and maybe have a look into LeBose. Getting closer. The AlphaTauri goes defensive. Is he going to try and send it around the outside? No, he is not. Good defending from Whiffy there to hold on to his position, but I think it's going to be all for naught because all that's doing is slowing both of them down, to be perfectly honest, at this stage. Joe definitely going to have the DRS on the AlphaTauri down the front straightaway this time, as it looks like Rawlings coming into the pits for his one and only stop, presumably. Joe going to get the inside as his teammate goes into the pit lane. So now this is where Joe really needs to make hay while the sun shines. Whiffy gets a 3-second time penalty there after being passed by the Haas driver. He's got to start closing down that almost 5.5-second gap he's got. Pretty much, actually, it is exactly 5 seconds, as he's already just chopping time off of that. Come to speak of it here, to Mex Facedays, who is the closest car on the same strategy to him. And it looks like Facedays may have a little bit more straight line speed going down the Mistral Straight. He's lost a few tenths of a second there, but through the corners, he is just so much more planted and quicker. Just through and then up and off the corners. Than Facedays is. Looking at the gaps there, again losing time down the straightaways, but as the tires start to go off, that's going to fall more and more Joe's way, as we got a yellow flag in sector 2. Looks like Fluky around at the chicane in the other AlphaTauri. As it looks like Zampa now jumps into the pits. Maybe trying to ride Facedays' DRS a little bit and maybe get a little bit of time back on Rawlings. We're going to go jump down to here as Joe now is elevated to P2. Andrew's up to P3. So we're going to go on board with the Haas of SSR Rawlings right now as he comes down the front straightaway and see where these guys, where Zampa comes out in relation. He's already by him, so that really did not gain Zampa anything, staying out that extra lap. Actually probably lost him time at this stage, as he's now almost 5 seconds behind. He was about probably 2.5 to 3, so not sure if it was a slow stop or if it was not really the best in lap. Or maybe Rawlings just had a killer out lap. The world will never know. Trace me there picking up a 3-second time penalty for running a little bit wide. Look at this. You just got a DRS train from pretty much Redeemer all the way back to DaCosta. Just about. And not too far behind them is Trace Me and Boostler. So just a bunch of guys running right in a line right here. As it looks like Silkweaver is taking a look at Redeemer, not going to really get much of anything done there in Labose. A lot of these guys running real conservative, not running all the way out to that white line mid-corner there to open up the exit. So maybe keeping a little bit in reserve, playing a little safe, trying to avoid running wide and compromising your exit that way. As it looks like Silkweaver is going to dive off into the pits. That's going to release Marlon Conga onto the back of Silkweaver. The Williams looks very racy tonight.
Redeemer actually going for another lap on the mediums. Very surprised to see that. You know, I feel like with everybody else pitting at about 13, 14 laps, he should probably be in by now. But hey, whatever works for him.
Indeed, if you can make it work, go for it.
Costa, yet another penalty. I gotta say he's had quite a few here tonight, unfortunately.
Indeed. I think he's probably frustrated quite a bit by how the start went. Just getting, I mean, honestly, there's no excuse for that. Just not having that formation lap is honestly unacceptable.
Getting some word from the chat here, Sprightly saying he thinks Redeemer's going to go for the medium to soft strat. Definitely a possibility with how far he's taken those, but I just feel like
it is indeed. It's a possibility. Not going to be a very quick possibility, I don't think, but stranger things have happened, and this race has been entirely cloud covered, which that's going to help your tire wear quite a bit, just because the heat on the track is not there. It's all being generated from the car being driven, not from the just static heat on the track. As looking back here, it looks like DaCosta setting up a move on Heatwave's going to get it done down the straightaway. Nice easy move under DRS. And looking up ahead, Marlon Kanga taking a look at Redeemer. Nothing happening there. Redeemer running a little bit wide on the exit. Zampa now setting the fastest lap of the race on a 1:33.035 in the Mercedes down in P11 after his stop. Looks like the closest fight we got on the track here is between Marlon Kanga and Redeemer. Redeemer under fire down the Mistral Straight this time from the Williams. Is Marlon going to be able to pull alongside him? Getting ahead of steam here. He's going to pull the inside into the chicane. And running a little deep, but hey, all's fair in love and racing. So Marlon Kanga picks up P4 for the moment on the medium tires. Still going to have to pit, I think, one more time. We'll see where he comes out.
And just that small fight between Kanga and Redeemer has brought DaCosta and Heatwave right there behind him.
It really has. Just shows that one little couple of sets of corners being side by side here really will slow you down, just because the track's not overly wide as far as the racing surface is, but it's just so fast. You lose so much time so quickly when you get slowed down by anything. As Face Taste, I believe, jumps into the pits. He's going to go onto the medium tires here to the end of the race, so we'll see what he can do. Looks like LDR Redeemer dives into the pits as well, serving a 5-second penalty there from contact earlier, so unfortunately that will not be able to get removed, I don't think, because he did serve it during the race. And he actually goes onto the soft tire, interestingly enough. Interesting strategy there. So Face Taste on those fresh mediums is roughly about, I would say, maybe 5 seconds behind Rawlings, maybe 6. So he's got to really make hay while the sun shines. He's got 3 cars between him. The only one that's going to the end of the race right now is Zampa, as Joe picks up a 3-second time penalty there. He is now leading the race to the tune of about 7 seconds in front of Andrew, still with the stop to make. Gotta wonder if we'll see him in this lap. He's got a lot of clear air. Maybe we're gonna try to make advantage of that while he's got the clear air. As it looks like Face Taste is gonna set up a move on Zampa. Zampa knows he's licked, I think, here. He's gonna give him the inside into turn 10, and he's gonna let the Ferrari through. Not really much point in fighting that with only a couple laps on both sets of their tires. Andrew's just gonna be, or Face Taste is gonna be much faster on those mediums than he is on the hards. Maybe let him drag him along if he can hang with him. Try to get him back later.
Got a few of the top runners here in the pits. I think they're all going to be going on the stops here.
Possibly. What does Joe go to? Goes to the mediums. I think that's a smart move, honestly, with more than 7 laps in the race, but we'll see. He's got some time to make up now. His teammate is all the way up in P2, and I think he is about roughly 9 seconds behind him. It's a tough ask. Can Joe pull it out of the hat? We'll see. He's definitely going to pick up some spots once these guys in front start pitting. There's 4 cars in front of him that have to pit, and he's about 4 seconds behind Zampa, and Face Taste ahead of him. It looks like Face Taste making a move around the outside into the chicane on 2 cars, on Trace Me and Killer. This Killer bounds over the curbs there, has to probably going to sacrifice a little momentum there, as it looks like Zampa also making a move on Trace Me behind him. So that's going to put Face Taste up into P4 at the moment. Just a couple of seconds behind Rawlings. This is going to be a crucial stage of this run for him. If he can close down Heatwave, get by him, and then close down Rawlings, which Heatwave should be diving into the pits very shortly, and just clear the track for him as Marlon dives into the pits now. Heatwave also going to do that as well. So now he does have clear racetrack in front of him. Heatwave getting a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane there. Very easy to do here. It's a very clumsy pit lane entry compared to what it used to be. Very easy to speed. So now he can see Rawlings ahead of him. He sees that's the only car I've got to catch. Let's go get him.
He only had 3-second gap, 7 laps to do it, and he is on pressure faster tires. So Face Days with a lot of pace here tonight. Definitely a possibility for him.
It is definitely, although getting a podium would not necessarily be a bad thing for this guy. He doesn't really seem to close him down too much through the twistier section at the start of the track there. Really where you would expect those mediums to play into his hand. Looks like he's faster down the straight. He's definitely faster down the straight, though. Pulling him a few tenths down the Mistral. And looking down, looks like we have Marlon getting by and Andrew getting by Groggy Oregano. And Andrew's going to go for the double move here. He's going to go for Marlon here down in the chicane. Runs him a little deep. Marlon fights back. Going to hang on to the position. Good clean racing from everybody involved there. And look at that train. Good Lord. Like 7 cars all in the same camera shot there. I'm going to stick on board with Andrew right here as he goes into Le Beauvais. Is he going to try for the cutback? He is. He's going to go for the cutback. Marlon defends it a little bit mid-corner. Smart move by Marlon there on the soft tires. Stay ahead. Marlon looking to draw away just a little bit, almost out of DRS range there as they come up to the penultimate corner. Joe resetting fast lap there at a 1:31.8. That's exactly what he needs to do to catch up to the guys in front. He's got Killer about a second in front of him, and then Zampa about a second in front of him. Going to be able to dispose of the Williams quite easily, being on the fact he's 16 lap on hard tires right now compared to Joe's 2 laps on mediums. Already just reeling him in through the first sector of the track. Got to get a nice clean exit onto the straightaway here, and I think he will have, he'll be having Williams for lunch right now into the chicane. Got to get a little closer than that. Not quite going to be close enough for the move. Runs a little bit deep. Not too bad, though. He's going to be able to probably get him on the exit with better grip, though. Closing down a little bit. Got slipstream. The Williams runs very offline to try and not give him slipstream. Defends the inside of the corner. Joe not really having much to do there. Going to cut to the inside. And now he's going to have the inside in a little Beauvais. A little bit of contact, and Joe has to go off the circuit there as he gets a little tap from Weiser Square going into Le Beauvais. That was not what Joe needed. He needed to get by him right there. He needed to force the issue a little bit more, but Weiser Square, Killer F1, whatever you want to call him, really just pinched him down and didn't leave him any room to work with, to be honest. But fair move. Meanwhile, out front, Face Taste, about a 2-second gap to Rawlings. He's kind of stalled out a little bit, I think, as Joe now gets by Killer F1 on the front straightaway. Joe on a lap fresher tire than Face Taste. Can he start clawing back that time? He's probably going to end up on the podium, I think, but can he get into second place, possibly up to the lead? Looking down here at Fluky and Groggy. Nothing much happening in turn 1 that time. Heatwave picks up another 3-second time penalty going wide off the exit of turn 2. Everybody kind of getting a little spread out here. Closest thing on track is going to be Silkweaver, but he just got passed by Andrew. I don't think there'll be too much happening into the chicane unless that McLaren has just got some absolutely monstrous straight line speed. Even with DRS, he's a little bit far back. Yeah, not going to be close enough for a move there. Somebody who might be close enough for a move is Fluky. He's going to have DRS, and Redeemer's going to have DRS on the both of them. Fluky going for the move. Groggy holds him off, though. But Fluky's going to get by on the exit. Groggy doesn't get the best exit, and Redeemer's probably going to take him for it as well here. Redeemer looking ahead. Going to get the move done on Fluky through turn 10 up to Le Beauvais. Is Fluky going to try for a cutback? No, he's not.
Weiser or Killer dives into the pits.
He does. That's going to cost him a lot of spots here late. Honestly, if I was him, I might have just tried to ride those things out because he's definitely already made his mandatory pit stop. I think I would have just tried to ride those things out a little bit.
I agree.
A lot of points he's giving up right here. It's going to be outside of the points, actually. So giving up P5, which is worth 10 points. And he's now down in P14, possibly P15 as he comes back onto the track right behind ARS Boostler. Got a few cars in front of him. He is on soft tires and should be able to make some good headway. We're going to stay on board with him. He just slices through these guys like a hot knife through butter, and he's going to go for the dive. I don't think Groggy was expecting that. Kind of chops him off, and he has to take an evasive maneuver. Doesn't gain any time or track position there on Groggy, but definitely a bit of a clumsy dive bomb right there into turn 3 from the Williams driver. And here's the DRS train. Nobody's really going to be able to do much back here with anybody. It's going to be the couple front guys really able to do something. His Heatwave not having DRS, that's going to hurt him. He's going to get passed by all 3 of them, or did he just lay off as... Oh, wow, Killer goes for the lunge there. Rawlings has left the session. Oh, no. Oh, no. Get Rawlings back in here ASAP. Did that just hand the race win to Mex Facetace? Oh, my. That is unfortunate. You don't want to see it end that way, folks. That's unfortunate. Meanwhile, behind, Joe has gotten around Zampa for P3. Can he get his teammate for P2 before he gets back in? And can Zampa get around the other Haas while they're ghosted? They're already on top of him. I think they're going to get him on the Mistral straight, or even before Joe already going through his teammate. And that's going to give Zampa the opportunity to get P3. Rawlings joining back, but it's all too little too late. He is off the podium. For the moment, penalties still to play into factor. Got about a 12-second gap back to Whiffy in P5, who's still just running his own race very quietly, very calmly. Good job to him on that. Sometimes just what you need to do. It's kind of what I need to do a little bit more sometimes. Is just kind of mind my beeswax a little bit. Unfortunately for Rawlings, race-winning performance taken away by internet issues. God, you hate to see that. You just hate to see that. Lost the intervals here for a moment, looking down the field. Looks to me like Boostler and Fluky going at it here for P12. Boostler going to have the run, going to get up the inside before they even get to turn 10. Good move by him. Oh, wow, he had to... Oh, never mind, that's the wrong car. I thought he had to back way out. That was a little questionable there. But I'm just looking at the wrong... I'm looking at the wrong Red Bull-owned car. I'm looking at Redeemer ahead of him, who is on 6-lap old soft, so those things are going to start to be crying a little bit, so he should be able to reel Redeemer in for P11 here. I don't think he's going to get Killer for P10. Speaking of which, he's back up into P10, but again, I would have rode those hards out because he did start on a different compounded tire. It was good to the regulations to the end. I would have just ridden those things out. He does set fast lap of the race to get an extra bonus point for that, and if he can get around DaCosta ahead of him, he's only about a second ahead of the Williams. That'll be another point for him. I think he's going to get him this lap as DaCosta runs very deep through turn 4 and stay on board as he runs a very late apex. Ooh, DaCosta getting a bit squirrely through there. Missing the apex a little bit there for the Williams. Understeering wide, but he's going to get a good run down the straightaway. Going to have DRS. Got no overtake, though. That's going to play against him here. DaCosta going to maybe be able to hang on to this unless he just sends it down the inside. I think he could have sent it right there. Maybe got the spot off him, but patience is a virtue, and that's one thing that Weiser Square is very good with, is patience. He knows how to sit behind the guy and kind of just play the moment. Doesn't get too greedy too quickly. Going to slipstream up behind him. Is he going to maybe go for a move through LeBose? He's going to have the grip, I think, but just not close enough to make it work.
But a quick penalty check. Facetace does not have a penalty. However, Joe does have that one penalty, and Zampa with none easily take that P2 from him.
He is looking back up ahead. Marlon Conga on now 6-lap old softs compared to Whiffy's 5-lap old hards, or 11-lap old hards. Marlon is looking for that P5 off of the AlphaTauri driver, and he is starting to reel him in just a little bit here with 2 laps to go. Can he get it away from him? Looking back, Silkweaver still on the back of Max Andrew. Not letting that Ferrari get too far away from him. Silkweaver very good over the long haul in these races. Just kind of quiet, mind his own business, a lot like Whiffy's been doing up ahead of him, but doesn't ever let an opportunity get away from him by doing, excuse me, anything silly. I got the hiccups. Looking back here, Killer looking again at DaCosta. He's a lot closer this time. He's going to be able to make a move, I think, into the chicane and make it stick. Going to get him done before the chicane. Now he's got about a lap and a half. He's about 3.5 seconds back if these two guys in front of him. As Heatwave now takes that fast lap away at a 1:31.5. He's running dead last. Honestly, I really don't like seeing that when a guy's just so far back that he makes an extra pit stop and goes and sets fast lap just to say that he did. If you're not going to finish in the top 10, and you know you're not going to finish in the top 10, there's really not a point aside from just kind of being a dick.
All depends on team strategy. You know, you see his boy Zampa up there in P3. Great race from him. Potentially taking that P2 away from Joe. You know, just maybe trying to help Zampa there a little bit in the points, but all the same.
Maybe just a little bit. As we're on to the final lap here, Marlon Conga right on the back of Whiffy Winner. They're coming up to the end of Sector 1 here. When they go down this Mistral Straight, he is crawling all over the back of this Alpha Tauri. He is wanting that P5. He is absolutely wanting that P5. Overtake, engage, throw it up in a rich mix. This is it, son. This is all you got. You're close enough. He's going to have to send it. Whiffy goes defensive, leaving a space on the outside. Marlon's going to go to the outside. And he's going to have him done around the outside before they even get to the corner. Good job by the Williams driver to get a P5 there. Very, very clean textbook move into the chicane. Looking back, Silkweaver not close enough to make that same move on Mex Andrew, but he is closing on the Ferrari ahead, gaining all the time down this little short straight up to turn 10 at the end of the Mistral Straight. Can he maybe send a dive up into LeBose? Not close enough to make it work. Going to look back up here at the front. Mex Facetas across the line is going to win the French Grand Prix. Joe in P2 for the moment, but he is going to lose that spot to SSR Zampa in the Mercedes. So Joe on the podium starting from P18. Good job from him. His teammate, what could have been. What could have been. You got to feel for Rawlings right now.
And Whippy actually does get that P5 back from Kanga there.
All right, so that decides P5 on penalties. Not really the way we like to see it decided. We like to see it decided by good, hard, clean racing on the track like those two just had. But overall, very good race. Only 2 retirements from the Alfa Tauri or the Alfa Romeo team. 1 disqualification, 1 DNF from an accident. Everybody else finishing the race. Rawlings noticeably unhappy in the chat with how that transpired. So we are going to get our podium finishers in here in just a moment.
Gotta say, I definitely feel for Rawlings. Definitely had a great chance of the win. I also feel for Dark Ice with the unfortunate disqualification early on. He had a great qualifying, great car. I mean, it's sad to see, you know, some little things happen. You just can't do anything about. And driver of the day going to Joe there. I definitely agree with Cody's on that one. P18 all the way to P3, almost. I mean P2 on track. Just a great race there from Joe.
Indeed, Joe put together a very clean, solid race to get himself all the way onto the podium, sniffing at the win, but just wasn't meant to be for the Haas driver this week for either one of them. But it was for that man, Mex Facetas, picking up, I believe, is that his 3rd win of the season?
I believe so. Definitely at least 2nd. I believe it's his 3rd.
It's definitely at least 2nd, possibly 3rd win of the season. This guy is doing pretty good for himself here in Tier 3. Racking them up. He's got more than I do this year, but that's not saying much up in Tier 1. It's pretty much dominated by a few guys. There's a little bit more variety down here in Tier 3 as far as race winners. And the boss, BRL Skeppy, throwing a bone to Rawlings there, saying that he had that one if that didn't happen. Looking down, who gets most penalties tonight? We got one guy at 6. That is Trace Me with 6 penalties. I believe that was the most throughout the field. So he gets the dunce hat tonight as we have our podium finishers joining us. Fellas, make sure you please include your audio As Zampa, your
Hello.
mic's buzzing a little bit.
Yeah, I can't do anything about that, unfortunately, Williams.
All right, well, we're just going to have to deal with it. We're going to start off with the guy who finished P2 on track, but P3 in the final timing. Joe, from 18th to P3, sniffing at that win. Just not quite enough, and that penalty hurt you a little bit in the final accounting, but not too much. Pretty good race overall?
Yeah, I had some good battles. The safety cars helped me out a lot, though. It made the hards last a little longer, so you could push harder at the end with the medium.
Indeed. What do you think of that start line crash that we saw that took both the McLarens down the order as well as one of the Mercedes? And I believe it was DaCosta just going backwards off the start from not having the formation lap.
Oh, I'm not sure. I saw it all in front of me. I gained like 5 positions. Everyone was braking. I had to avoid a bunch of people. I'm lucky I came out with no damage or anything.
Indeed. Well, good job to Joe for getting that P3 tonight. How do you feel about next week at Austria?
I'm decent around there. Hopefully, I can get a good finish with the battle with Face Task.
All right. Moving along. Toxin, talk to the guy who finished in P2.
Yeah, P3 on track. P2 penalties, you kept it clean all night. Zampa, good job there. I mean, great race overall from you, man. You started, I want to say it was P6, I believe. I mean, you just had a great race the whole night, man. And like I said, kept it clean. How'd you feel coming to those last couple laps? Did you feel like you ever had a chance at that win? You're on the different strategy, but did you feel it, or did you just feel like that podium was there? Like, what was your thought process tonight?
I committed to the one stop. I knew the one stop was going to be fastest, but I didn't realise the reverse one stop was going to be even faster. Do it in the hard to medium. Yeah, the last few laps really pushing to try and stay within 3 seconds of Joe because Jeff told me he had a penalty. I was never catching face tests. Facetus, however you, sorry Facetus, I don't know how it's pronounced. Max, no, Max was off. I was never catching him. That's good from Joe. I slipped up at the end. I thought he might have got away, but yeah, his penalty's looking down. First podium in BRL, very happy.
Yeah, great race overall from you tonight, and yeah, congratulations on your first podium in BRL, man.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to our race winner tonight. Congratulations are in order for Mex Face Test. Buddy, we can't remember. Was that your second or third race win of the season?
I think it's my second. I think.
Yeah, we couldn't keep it straight, but doing pretty well this season. How do you feel about your championship chances?
Feel really good. Actually, the only is Joe. Joe is kind of putting in risk my championship chances until now.
Hashtag Joe OP. So walk us through your race. It was fairly quiet. I think you started P11, didn't you, on the hard tire?
Yeah, actually, my qualifying lap was not the best, but I didn't want to ruin the medium compound tires before the race, so I decided to not go out again. And well, I had the strategic pole position. So I decided to put the hard compound tires and make that strategy.
Indeed, the reverse one-stop strategy with the hard to medium does tend to be a little bit quicker around here just because you can ride people's DRS early in the race, gain time that way while your tires are still good, and then run off while they're all fighting for position behind you. Usually a good strategy at this particular track if you can manage to get on the hard tire to start and make it work. Did the safety cars help you get a better start from P11 on those hard tires?
Well, actually, because it helped me to get it that stint longer, so I had more chances to get on the medium compound tires at the end of the race with better chances, with more pace.
Indeed, and actually that is your third race win of the season. You won at Zandvoort and the season opener in Australia. So you two are now tied at the top of the board with 3 wins apiece. The points gap is now roughly, I believe, unofficially 17 points at this stage in favor of Face Taste. So you two are kind of head and shoulders above everybody else by quite a ways. You're going to hopefully see this championship battle between you go all the way down to the wire in Abu Dhabi. That is going to do us tonight here for Tier 3 in BRL. Once again, I have been BRL Williams with Toxin NS. He keeps changing the suffix on his name. And our 3 podium finishers tonight in order: Mex Face Taste, SSR Zampa, and Joe F1, who came all the way from the back to stand on the rostrum. Good night, and we will see you next week, folks.
Thank you.